Hey everybody, this is Sean Riley with Riley Real Estate and MassHomesale.com. I'm here today for another Q&A Saturday video. This week I'm going to be answering the question of what is TRID, T-R-I-D. So what is TRID? TRID is the acronym for the new closing procedures that are going to be coming into effect pretty soon for real estate. It stands for, T is for TILA, T-I-L-A, the Truth in Lending Act. R is for RESPA, R-E-S-P-A, the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act. I is for integrated, and D is for disclosure. So basically what it's doing is combining all of these previous rules and regulations along with some other ones into a new integrated system where there's going to be some new forms and new procedures that in theory are supposed to make things simpler and easier for the buyer, consumer of a lending product to be able to understand and to give them more time to see the disclosures. In theory, a pretty good idea. It's scaring a lot of people because it's going to change a lot of known procedures, add some new timelines to things, and it will likely cause some significant delays in being able to complete transactions. People have been talking about that a lot recently because until fairly recently, when the implementation was extended, it actually was supposed to start today, August 1st, on a Saturday, go figure. I guess just because I would have assumed because it was just the first of the month, but they actually recently extended it, so it's not going to go into effect until October 3rd, which is also a Saturday. I don't really understand why they keep implementing these things on a Saturday, because no loan officer or underwriter actually works on a Saturday, so it doesn't really affect anything until the next Monday anyway, but who am I to question the government? An interesting thing that just came up in the last couple of days is that a bill just made through in committee in the House, not to delay the implementation again, but to delay basically the full enforcement of the law. So as of October 3rd, right now, everything still needs to be in place, and this is going to be the new set of procedures. But they're basically saying that if you are making a good effort to comply with the procedures, if you make some small errors or gaffe in procedural timelines or whatnot, you basically can't just be sued for that, again, as long as you're trying to comply with the rules until next February. So I think in theory the idea there is that will hopefully make lenders a little bit less anal to make sure they get absolutely everything right off the bat, doing something brand new that they haven't done before, so maybe the delays won't be quite as severe in October, November, December when things are first starting out. We'll see if it's only made it through committee, so God only knows if it even goes through, but if something like that does happen, we'll see if that hopefully helps with some of the stuff. So the main change is that there's going to be some new disclosure rules, and there's going to be a 3-day review of the final settlement statement prior to any closing. So right now, in theory, you're supposed to get your final HUD-1 statement a good day before your closing. That doesn't always happen, which is one of the reasons why they felt the need to change some of this stuff. So that's going to push stuff back usually at least a couple days, obviously, if you're extending that timeline. The other problem is that if there's any substantial changes to be made, it could re-trigger a new 3-day review period, and if this happens multiple times, obviously the closing can be pushed back quite a few days, and these are only business days, so certainly Sundays don't count, generally Saturdays don't count, federal holidays definitely do not count. So once you start getting into new weeks, then it's going to be more than 3 days generally. The interesting thing is most people are saying that you should expect closings to be delayed at least 2 weeks because of this, which is kind of interesting, given that it's only a couple of days that get added on to it. Some of the rationale there, this is the one I really love, is that if they're mailing out these documents, they need to send them out at least 7 to 10 days ahead of time to make sure they get there, they have time to review them, and they get them back in time. I have never gotten a settlement statement to review in the mail. It's always done electronically, so that's ridiculous. It's only going to be less likely that people are going to be mailing, but those are one of the rationales that the banks are using. even if they are going to send stuff, they would overnight it anyway. So this is just kind of ridiculous. Let's see what so some. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail here, but some of the other major things that probably are going to come out of this is that you're not going to see too many 30-day rate locks for buyers anymore, since they are now saying that basically 45 days should be the new standard, and many closings are going to take 60 days or longer. You already have that a lot. It's just that they pretty much are saying you're not going to be able to close in 30 days. So you're going to see a lot more 45-day rate locks, 60-day rate locks, or a lot of extensions as rates are going to be coming up for expiration well before the closing date. So that could actually explain more so than that silly thing about being able to mail stuff as to why banks might be saying it's going to take an additional 2 weeks or so to close a loan, because 45-day rate locks usually cost more, and as do taking a 15-day extension to an expiring rate lock. I read that, they would expect that there would be $5 to $8.5 billion of additional fees generated annually by doing this. So that seems to be a slightly bigger incentive of why they think it's going to take a lot longer to do stuff. But, just me being a cynic. Anyway, so that is just some of the basic stuff about TRID. Basically, new procedures coming into effect October 3rd. As of now, that could still change, obviously. Integrated procedures, new final disclosure document. I'm going to put some links below that so you can take a look at some of the actual forms. And the big thing is that 3-day review, and the stuff that could trigger a new 3-day review that could cause closings to get late significantly. So basically, if you are buying or selling a house after the beginning of October, you're going to be subject to this stuff, and you should expect that it's going to take a lot longer to sell, especially those first couple of months while they're hammering out all the details and stuff, than it has in the past. So if you need to sell in 30 days and you don't get a purchase contract until October, you're not going to sell in 30 days. It's not going to happen. If your buyer is getting bank financing, that's actually a very important point that I did not make. Cash transactions, this doesn't apply to. Seller financing transactions, this doesn't apply to. Private lenders only making, I think, like 5 or less loans per year on residential properties, this doesn't apply to. It does not apply to commercial loans, which would generally be the classification for any investor getting a hard money loan, even if they make more than 5. Those are generally considered commercial loans. I'm not a lawyer, but I think that's how that's usually going to do it. Or a conventional commercial loan via a bank would not fall under any of this stuff. So that's important. But anybody getting a standard 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is going to be subject to these procedures. So anyway, that is TRID in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm going to put a bunch of links to look at some of the forms and some of the rules and some good articles on that. And I'm actually planning on writing a much more detailed article on this probably sometime in September, because I'm going to be going and getting some more training on TRID myself, because I'm a real estate agent and I need to learn some more of this stuff. As well as by September it'll probably be pretty clear if there's going to be any other amendments or delays to the process. So a lot of buzz about this lately, so I wanted to do the video. We'll do that article later on. A lot of links below. If you have any other questions, as always, put them in the links below. And, of course, if you have questions you'd like to see answered in one of our videos, you can always post it on our Facebook page, our Twitter account, or send an email to info@masshomesale.com. That's it for now, and have a good week. I'll see you next week. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.